Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Kia Carens. But before we reach the car, let me tell you about this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. Now this is the Involve Origin Aurum. It has a very smooth smell, something different from what you usually expect, and the best thing is it's got ingredients from across the world resulting in a very nice and refreshing smell. Yeah, that's right. But this car is actually an alien because Kia says it is not from this world. Anyway, straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle, and there you can see is the diesel engine. There is insulation there, of course. Engine seems so clean, and the design language is also fantastic because it looks kind of unique and different as well. First and foremost, this is the DRL, which when the indicator is turned on looks something like this. And below that you have got three lights which are for the main lights. Now this is actually for the high beam. Meanwhile, fog lights also has this 3 sort of a treatment, and then this premium 3D sort of a finishing is also given right below the logo, of course. And here you get this chrome with the similar treatment, very premium and nice, looks fantastic. You get front parking sensors. But before you guys say, "Arey, ye to Alcazar hai Kia ki taraf se," no. This actually happens to be on the Sonnet platform, and obviously it's going to be priced lower than the Alcazar. That's why there are 5 trims on offer. And let's not forget, this car also misses out on a ton of features like a front camera, side cameras, 360-degree cameras, and 18-inch wheels, because the wheels on this car happen to be 205 65 16s. Alloy wheel design is really very nice, and you get this body side cladding as well. I love the way the lights have been done on this car. You get chrome door handles. Now this is actually longer, wider and taller than the Alcazar. It also has a longer wheelbase. In fact, it has the longest wheelbase in the segment, even longer than the Toyota Innova by 30 mm, longer than the Alcazar by 20 mm, resulting in a massive middle row. Actually, you can see the door itself is so much longer, including the windows. Well, you see the roof rails are a little different because you can't put your hands through them. And there is the sunroof of the car. Again, it does not get a panoramic roof, which the Alcazar gets. You get a shark fin antenna right there, and this chrome line runs through here. Beautifully done. Like, the design elements are fantastic, but car looks really under tired from certain angles. I mean, come on, 16 inches. Well, of course, it's on the Sonnet platform. Anyways, lights at the rear are also nice, sort of a wrap-around treatment. And there you can see it is not all LED, because I think this might be halogen, but this is LED, of course. Says auto because this happens to be an automatic. Kia's new logo and Carens. Actually, pronunciation is a bit of an issue. Is it Carens or I think it's Carens? Yeah, Carens. Yeah, Karen. Oh, no. Anyways, you can see this nice sort of a chrome treatment. I love the way they have done this. It looks so beautiful, this sort of a 3D effect. This is the towing hook, rear parking sensors, and the parking camera is placed right there. But Faisal Khan's fingers of truth not happy with the fake sort of an exhaust. Actually, I don't know if this is sort of fake exhaust, but the real exhaust is of course here. Meanwhile, the spare wheel is right there, which is of course full size, but unfortunately it does not get an alloy. You can see the suspension and the wheels, of course. You get this sort of a gloss black finishing as well. Kia is a design company, period. Meanwhile, you get a high mounted stop lamp and a rear wiper and a washer as well. Let's do one thing. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. It doesn't get a powered tailgate. Of course, you don't expect that at this price. It's kind of heavy, but there is this handle to close it. First and foremost, there is storage space below here, and the toolkit is placed right there. The good news is that the boot is decent size with all the 3 rows up, and if you want to increase the boot carrying capacity, all you need to do is just push it like that, and there. Now you have a massive boot. In fact, you can probably fit half a Sonnet right there. Now there happens to be a subwoofer, a light placement here, proper seat belts too, and of course USB-C charging circuits for both the rear passengers, along with plenty of storage space as well. Nice touch. And now let me pull it back and put it into place. Now this is very upright. You can obviously move it in a zillion ways if you so wish, because not zillion, 3 ways I think. 1 recline angle, 3rd recline angle, and the full recline angle. So it does recline in multiple ways in order to ensure that the rear passenger is extremely comfortable, which is a nice touch. And all the headrests of this car are adjustable, which again is fantastic. The only problem is I find the seat now to be a little short. For someone as tall as me, that's a bit of an issue. I'll show you. There's a wire dangling from there. Let's shut this Yeah, not really a third, but anyways, it's making this noise because I have the key in my pocket. Here, you can see the doors are really long and the window is also big. Doors also open quite wide. Okay, I'm not going to say Tata Ultros now. And you get sun blinds which are manually adjustable. Cup holders, 2 of them here, along with maybe, I don't know, chocolate holder as well. And it's easy to open and close the door because there's this proper handle sort of a thing. You get this leather treatment too. Bose sound system. There are 4 speakers on the door, 2 tweeters ahead, and I think there might be an amplifier also. So total 8 speaker Bose system, which is actually quite nice indeed. Now here I was telling you the problem. You can see the height of this area in everywhere is very short. So for someone as tall as me, my neck is exposed and then I have to adjust the headrest very upward to be comfortable. I don't know how they managed to do that and why they managed to do that. Is this car for short people? Do we have to come up with something known as seat height as well now in a car? Earlier it was only for motorcycles. Isofix, it says right there. You get an armrest for the center passengers. Now this happens to be the 6-seater version. There's going to be a 7-seater version as well, wherein you can't just climb in from here and go. And of course I have kept a dummy bottle so I can show you that you can actually fit a 1-liter bottle easily there. Now there is some storage here in the center, and okay, what is there? Meanwhile, you have got 2 USB-C charging sockets here too, which is a nice touch. Okay, like I had this issue with the seat. Now a unique feature which this car gets, which Alcazar does not get, you just press this button and there it tumbles, which is really very nice. Now one thing I have done already, I have put this seat as ahead as possible. Yeah, it has a sliding mechanism. Now it is ahead. That is as behind as it goes, or is it? Yeah, it is as behind. So you can see minimum legroom, maximum legroom, resulting in minimum and maximum legroom here. Honestly, you have to push the seat ahead if you want to sit in the last row. Now I'll do a quick demonstration. Now you can also tumble it using this lever right there. Yeah, if you don't want to use that button. But why would you not want to use the button? Now the seat happens to be decently comfortable, but as always the case with the poor last row passengers, yeah, come, let's slot into place. Okay, I need to push this a little ahead. Yeah, I'm just going to push this. Okay, there is very poor leg room. Knee room is kind of non-existent. Under thigh support is also obnoxiously bad, and headroom is just about adequate. But this isn't really a 6-seater, it's more of a 4-seater with 2 kids at the rear whom you don't really like. Now the seat comfort is nice, but seat base is so chintu mintu now. You don't have good under thigh support at all. You can see legroom is slightly better here because, no, actually it's better here because the seat is very ahead. This is all the way behind, but the difference is not really much, not really world apart. You get a light placement on the top. 2 lights are there, and these are the AC vents at the rear. Now you can decide how you want the airflow to be between regular and diffused, which is a nice touch, so that, you know, even though the AC is controlled from the center, people at the rear can have some sort of decision making as well. Now the good news is, to get outside, all I need to do is press this button and there it tumbles. Now this is a fantastic feature. Here you can slot the seatbelt in place. I don't even know what that is, but anyways, let's get out from here. So not much at the rear. However, thankfully Kia has given it some nifty bits. Ouch. Yeah, it comes down with the power button electrically. However, it doesn't go up with the button, which is kind of unfortunate. Now I need to show you another thing. This happens to be the AC control. Yeah, AC is a chiller, very loud, nothing complex. Just move this lever and you can control the air conditioning. Here obviously you get a tray with a cup holder, and you can slot your iPad right there, along with the fact that you can keep small items right there. Magazine holder, pen holder on both the sides, and on this side you get the air purifier. So you press the button, there it activates. I can decide the mode of the air purifier, 1, 2, 3, 4, the speeds, change the display as well, the brightness of course, see what is the filter in use, and then just turn it off because, okay, wait, let me turn it off, it makes unnecessary sound. Smart Pure Air virus protection, it says. Anyways, that is the dashboard of the Kia Carens. I think it looks quite nice and different. However, there's another problem. You see, the dashboard is lower set, the windscreen area is humongous. It brings in a lot of light, but right now when the sun is shining bright, you can feel the sun completely. Light placement on the top, again AC vent placement here on the top. Kia says they wanted to put roof mounted air conditioning vents. That's the reason this car does not get a panoramic roof. Nice excuse, Kia, I don't buy it. There is a hook here and a handle. Thankfully it's just damped. And you know what, says Bose there proudly. You can see some sort of ambient lighting because it's got 64 colors for the ambient lighting, and design aspect is nice, but hard plastics are in plenty. Let's get out from here. Okay, I would say the Alcazar is slightly better in the second row because it has this wireless charger and that massive center console, which is obviously missing in this car because it's based on the Sonnet. Now they have to cut costs somewhere or the other to price it more aggressively because they are taking on the XL6. That's the reason it also doesn't get the 2-liter engine, it gets a 1.4 liter and a 1.5 liter petrol. No request sensor here, and there are 3 cup holders at the front for the front doors, and this is an umbrella holder, which is a nice touch, of course. Meanwhile, the glove box is decent size. It doesn't get the cooling function though, but there is a secret storage space here. Yeah, there is a secret storage space right there. Again, handy enough. Says Carens on the mat, of course. Let's shut this. Okay, this is where the tweeters have been placed of the car. So, like I was telling you, a lot of features are actually missing in this car when compared to the Alcazar, and that's the reason why they're going to be pricing it much more aggressively. So, first things first, request sensor here, of course, and the seats do not get the electric adjust. Again, a bummer because they've cut features there too. Meanwhile, these are the controls for the power windows. One touch up and down for the driver's side only, and this is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, and this is to close the outside rear view mirror, of course. And this different sort of a treatment has been given. You can keep your hand here comfortably like that, sort of a Range Rover, of course. And there is a coin holder here. Yeah, there is a coin holder. Who really carries coins these days? Engine start stop button. This is for traction control, and this is for the headlight leveler. There's a proper dead pedal right there. This is for the fuse box. Now again, I was telling you, the height of this is less, so I'm not really very comfortable in this car. I'm obviously on the taller side. Let's quickly shut the door. Now they have given height adjustable seat belts, which is a nice touch. No handle here, but you know what? There is no mirror on this side, although there is this toll receipt holder. There is a mirror but no light, and there is a cup holder for the co-driver. Meanwhile, let me just use this Volvo key, which happens to be slightly thicker than a smartphone. You can actually slot your phone there. That's a weird way of holding a phone. I don't know what it means. It's showing me the phone sign, but I don't think a phone should be slotted there. One bump and your phone will fall and break. Then Kia is going to get it repaired for you for free, of course. And this sort of a treatment, piano black, which is obviously a fingerprint magnet, the touchscreen that is. And you know what? The steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. Meanwhile, it gets automatic headlights. Okay, it gets automatic wipers. The wipers work really nicely. Plenty of spray on offer. And we're going to use the rear ones as well, so I can show you that too. Here you go. Yeah, good amount of spray on offer. Anyways, now the steering is a typical Kia steering wheel. Very nice to hold, gets the flat bottom treatment. Carens written right there. The horn is also decent, not that great as such. Now there are a lot of buttons here. This is obviously to browse through the multi-information display. This is actually for the cruise control. This is completely for the cruise control, and this is for the multi-information display, and these are for the audio system, and this is for voice command. And there's this mode button which you can program. So I programmed it for something. This happens to be sounds of nature. Yeah, the car has sounds of nature. So when you go exploring, you can put those sounds to be in a different world, which is what Kia wants everyone to think. Okay, this is where I think another speaker is placed, so it doesn't have an amplifier. Meanwhile, it gets paddles which are not plastic, nice metal ones that also look quite nice. And this is actually a 12.5 inch instrument cluster, which is much bigger than the one in the Alcazar, which gets a 10.25 inch unit. It's a nice looking unit because the color also changes according to the drive mode, which you can obviously decide. Now the other good bit is that it's very easy to browse. You just press this button and you can browse through a lot of stuff like the compass and the tire pressure monitor as well. And here you can go up and down for all the display bits. So this is actually that button for the same. And I have to tell you that this digital display is quite nice because obviously it gets this tachometer, speedometer, fuel meter, temperature meter, and all the information in the center. Telltale lights are almost everywhere, but it does not get a blind view monitor like the Alcazar. So when you give an indicator, nothing really happens. I like this stitching here. Okay, this is for the hazard light, and these are the controls for the air conditioning, which are very slick to use. See, just very slick, and then it obviously makes that sound. Yeah, air conditioning is actually quite nice, works brilliantly. Now the thing is, it has this continuous AC vent running treatment, which is good, and there's a wireless charging pad which gets the cooling function. In fact, cooling function is here too, so you can cool your drinks. There, I've turned it on, and this is actually exposed, but you can open it like this, and there's a tray right there. You can remove that. Below the front center armrest, there's good amount of storage space as well. Meanwhile, handbrake is the regular one, physical handbrake. Gear lever is nice to hold, and there are some buttons here. Firstly, it gets a regular USB charging socket, a USB-C charging socket, and a 12-volt charging socket as well. Here are the controls for the ventilation function for the front seat. So both the front seats get ventilation function, and this is for the parking sensors. It gets 360-degree parking sensors. This is for the parking camera. This is for downhill assist, and this is for the drive mode selector of the vehicle. Now the car has a lot of hard plastics. You name it, everywhere it has got hard plastics. Auto dimming mirror, which has 3-4 buttons here, because obviously it's got connected car tech as well. There's a sunglass holder on the top, light placement on the top as well. And let's quickly open the sunroof, which is very chinto, yaar. It's like for an MPV which is so big, it is very chinto. That's all it opens. But then Kia's like, this is not an MPV, this is not an SUV, this is a recreational vehicle. Similarly, I am not a vlogger, I am not an automobile journalist, I am a scientist. I am from Dexter's lab. So this happens to be a 10.25 inch screen. It is absolutely phenomenal. Trust me on this. Very nice, very slick, no issues as such. Only thing is it's a fingerprint magnet, but it has got a valet mode. It has got a quiet mode as well, wherein it actually reduces the volume to 25, no matter what the volume is, so that people at the rear can sleep, and it puts all the volume to the front speakers only. Nice touch, huh? You can do phone projection because that's Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto connectivity. There's something known as voice memos. What is that? Let's just use it.
My name is Jadoo and I would like to buy this Carens. Sorry, it is the Sonnet Pro Max. Thank you, Jadoo. Thank you.
Oh god, that was weird. Who's that dude? Anyways, it has got Kia Connect, media, radio, all that stuff. Maps are really brilliant. Like, look at the quality of the maps. Fantastic to say the least. And then you can just browse through here. The manual is here. You have to scan it through your phone, and then you can get to the manual as well. Nice touch, na? So I love this infotainment system. In fact, right now it still shows you the map and navigation where you are going, and then it has repeatedly, interrupting when you're driving, telling you speed breaker ahead, children crossing ahead, and all that stuff. So you have to be a little careful in that regard. Here we are going to get into, I'm just getting so confused. We have to be in settings at the moment. All the settings we get into vehicle, because we can get into cluster, and then we can select a theme. So I have actually linked the thing to the drive mode so that I can change it manually. Yeah, same as the Alcazar actually, but you know what? I have to get into lights, and here into ambient lighting. Let's decide a color, set custom color, and there are the 64 colors which I was talking about. And if you're not so comfortable with 64 colors, you can just decide any of the theme colors like blue flight and dreamy purple and stuff like that. So I'm just going to keep it to probably, yeah, they actually link to drive mode. We're just going to link it to drive mode. That's just easier to operate. 64 colors might not be that useful, but yeah, that is something which only Mercedes cars had, but now even the Alcazar and the Carens have it. Usual bits, you can get into a lot of stuff to program stuff here and there. Not any rocket science bit, of course. Let's get into reverse right away. Now this is the reverse parking camera. It has got adaptive guidelines. It has to get adaptive guidelines. And let's do one thing. Let's just turn off the car. Okay, I have turned off the car, and I'm just going to open the door. Now it gives this graphic on both the screen as well as the instrument cluster with the Kia logo eventually coming in there. Let's get out because I want to show you the key of the car. Oh no, I forgot something. Let's just turn this on ignition, roll down the window. Yeah, it shows this nice graphic, system check and all. In fact, I'm just going to turn it off and I'm just going to turn it on. Yeah, every time you turn on the car now, the air purifier makes some sound of noise from behind, but right now it's obviously turned off. Let's get outside. Let's lock the car. I have not shown you the key of the vehicle. Now this is the key of the Carens. Now this is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle, and this is to, yeah, this is no, the car is not turned off at the moment. Yeah, just turn it off and then let's just lock it. It's locked, mirrors go inside. I keep this button pressed and then hopefully the car should turn on. Yeah, there it blinks, there it turns on. That's a fantastic feature. Okay, the car is locked, I need to unlock it. Yeah, now it's unlocked and open. Now another thing is that this amazing perfume really suits this car, the Carens, because it really refreshes the cabin. You can simply slot it here and it's very easy to regulate. You just like push it like this, it's regulated. It does not even leak. That's so amazing, right? Oh my god, the cabin feels so nice, smells really awesome as well, but the fingerprints are like an eyesore at the moment. So let's do one thing, let's start driving, because I think this is going to drive quite well, at least in terms of comfort. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, turning off the ventilated seats also so they don't make any sort of noise, into drive mode, into sport mode for the gearbox, into, okay, I have to shift to D, and now we are into sport mode for the drive modes. This is the map, and left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, hazard light off, traction control off, and off we go. Some amount of wheel spin you could feel, but not much, because obviously this engine doesn't have much power. This is a 1.5 litre CRDI diesel engine which produces 115 PS of power at 4000 RPM, and the torque output is 250 Newton meters, which comes in at 1500 RPM, stays there till 2750 RPM, giving it a decently wide torque band as well. The result is, in spite of the lackluster numbers on paper, out on the road there is decent amount of grunt. In fact, it will go from 0 to 100 km per hour in slightly under 13 seconds, making it decently quick for an MPV. Faisal, it's a recreational vehicle. Okay, I'm a scientist. Anyways, let's get going. Now, throttle response is nice and immediate. In fact, drivability is really very good because turbo lag is well contained, supremely well contained. And the reason for the turbo lag being so well contained is because it has got grunt lower down the rev range. Right at 1500 RPM, if peak torque is coming, it is able to move ahead very swiftly, and it doesn't really weigh much as such, or at least it doesn't feel its weight, because kind of is on a lighter side, this car. And you can see there is this nice punchy mid-range between 2000 to 4000 RPM. It pulls strongly, it has a lot of grunt there in the mid-range, but everything is very linear. There's no kick in the pants feel. The motor is super refined. It's like unbelievably refined at lower speeds. Now, once you get going around 3000 RPM, it starts getting vocal, and then once you get near the red line or past 4000 RPM, it gets very vocal indeed. And beyond 4000 RPM, there's nothing left in the engine only, because it gets boomy. There's no grunt, there's no punch, there's no push, there's no pull, none of that. It feels best lower down only. Top end is completely lacking. It will redline around 4600 RPM or something of that sort. We're going to come to a halt, and I am just going to turn on the driver rear view monitor. Let's see if we can actually activate the maps along with that. Yeah, there it is. You can just browse through like this. This is so simple and so nice as well. So split screen. In fact, it splits when you're coming to a turn as well. When you're navigating, it gives you information right there too. So very nice infotainment system. I really like it. And now we are going to be left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, rev still 1700 RPM. Some wheel spin for sure. It upshifts between 4 to 4,500 RPM, doesn't really pull beyond that. So this engine, well, gets the job done, but it's not a fiery engine in any sense of the word. Hyundai Kia needs to offer a bigger engine. But hey, people who want more performance can opt for the petrol, right? You can hear how much sound it's making near the red line. Now, I have got manual control, thankfully, due to the steering mounted paddles, and I can also get into the Triptronic function here and also make shifts if I so wish. But the problem is that it doesn't give me complete manual control of things. It will not hold on to a gear right now. Since I'm in manual mode, I'm stepping onto the throttle. It is not doing a downshift. It's keeping me in 6th gear only, right? So it will not give you a downshift, but it will definitely give you an upshift when you near the red line. See here, I'm going to hit the red line, and there, 4300 RPM, it made a shift. Now, it's got drive modes. There are 3 drive modes on offer. Right now we are driving in sport mode, so right now I've come into eco mode. You can realize that performance immediately dulls when you come into eco mode. Like immediately you feel it, okay? And the cluster also changes. I mean, obviously it's linked to the themes and all. I have linked the drive modes to the theme. There are 3 themes on offer, and performance feels a little lackluster when you get hard onto the gas in this particular mode, eco mode. But you know what? It misses out on traction modes, which is offered with the Alcazar, of course. And then we are going to change again into normal one. Normal is a good blend of eco and sport, not the Ford kind. In fact, it feels the best in sport mode to drive with all the 115 horsepower. There are different maps. I think it only alters the engine as such, because steering feels very similar. Steering is actually light. It's very easy to drive this car. It doesn't feel its length, it doesn't feel its weight, and it's very easy to twirl the steering wheel. Like, look at that, it's so easy, my goodness. However, it does weigh up decently well. It doesn't feel hairy. This is a steering which also centers decently well. In fact, I said decently well so many times, I'm just going to use some other word. This steering is way better than a Maruti Suzuki steering wheel, period. But it's not in Volkswagen or Skoda League or even Ford League. Okay, don't talk about Ford, they have left. You know why? Because it doesn't have that feel or feedback at high speeds. It's just like so numb. And in fact, the whole driving experience is also very numb. To put it mildly, I would say this car is borderline boring. And that's actually a good thing, because Kia has a strategy up its sleeve. They made a car which is borderline boring so that people who are in the car, they go to sleep because they just get so bored. So what do? They go to sleep. And when they go to sleep, they are completely fresh and energetic when they reach their destination so they can explore more. Isn't that a brilliant idea? Okay, jokes aside, that's not a joke actually. Yeah. Over bumps, not an issue. Finally, Kia has got the ride quality right on its car. You hear the sound, right? And brakes are also decent. Yeah, sure footed. Alright, into sport mode and revving the motor. Some amount of wheel spin. Another trick I'll show you. Okay, right now we got into eco mode. As soon as I slot the gear lever into sport, it automatically seems to get into sport mode. Yeah, that's right. Kind of changes with the gear lever. I don't have to press the drive mode. And the screen is a little too far ahead as well. Now, the thing is, a lot of people have been mocking Hyundai Kia for the safety of their cars. That's why Kia has decided they're going to offer 6 airbags, ABS, ESP, VDM, HAC, DBC, all the acronyms possible in the dictionary on this car as standard across all the trims. Okay, ABS, anti-lock brakes, ESC, electronic stability controller program, I think ESP or whatever, traction control system, downhill assist, downhill brake control, hill ascent control, and rear parking sensors, tire pressure monitor. Everything is standard, yeah, including 6 airbags. All of them are standard across all trims of the Carens. Well, the thing is, unfortunately, these features are not going to make the car as safe as a strong structural body, or what I mean, obviously, right? But then at least something is better than nothing, and I hope this makes the car safer, because what you've seen with the Seltos is not really reassuring as such. And I was telling you they've got the ride right, because firstly the wheels are small, which doesn't bode well on really big bumps, but for the most part, due to the high profile tires, the ride is actually quite nice. I like the ride quality on this car. It's smooth, it's refined, and although you can hear a bit of the tire noise, for the most part, this is a very comfortable car. Yes, there's a lot of body roll on offer. It's not fun as such. And this one is slightly stiffer because this is a diesel, of course, and a diesel engine is slightly heavier as well. So they've stiffened the front slightly, which doesn't really matter because overall ride comfort is absolutely fantastic in this car. I just wish it was a little bit more exciting to drive. It's kind of boring in that regard. However, you get paddle shifters, which is like, oh, you know what? This is engaging, but it's not. This is a 6-speed torque converter gearbox, which is on a vacation or probably retired, because it takes its own sweet time to shift gears. Yeah, really, it takes its own freaking sweet time to shift gears. It will not hurry up. It will not all of a sudden be like, oh yes, let's do it, baby. No. Okay, it's aram se. You want a quick downshift? 1 second, let me just get into the right drive mode. You want a quick downshift? It is not that immediate to respond, and with upshifts also it takes its own sweet time. Of course, you also get a 6-speed manual, and the 6-speed manual is available with all the 3 engines. So there are 3 engines on offer. There is a 1.5 litre MPV which produces the same 115 horsepower, but 144 Newton meters of torque. Naturally aspirated, decent engine will get the job done. Most people are going to buy that, of course, because of the cheaper pricing. And that one only gets a 6-speed manual. There is no automatic. The diesel gets a 6-speed automatic and a 6-speed manual, and then there is the turbo, which we will talk about in a bit. Okay, 3 years, unlimited kilometers warranty on this car, which can be extended up to 5 years, and 3 years 24/7 roadside assistance as well. And I think 3 years for this connected car features. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for the data, of course. And yeah, brakes are strong because rear disc brakes are also standard across all trims. Wheel spin, of course. While this engine gets the job done, the only gripe here is that when you're having more people on board and when you go to a ghat section, you realize this diesel engine is a bit underpowered. Out on the highway, you will feel that. In the city, you will not. So they could have offered more punch for sure. 115 horsepower from a diesel, which is of this size. I mean, the car is of this size, and forget it. I have already said this millions of times. Not that Hyundai Kia are going to listen. Anyways, around the corners, you can feel the roll. You can feel roly-poly happening a lot as well. But you know what? The more exciting engine is, of course, the 1.4 litre turbo petrol unit. So let's switch. Now I'm driving the turbo petrol engine version of the Carens, and let me tell you, this engine feels so much better because it feels so much more punchy and lively and doesn't feel lackluster. The diesel doesn't have that grunt, but this one has quite a lot of performance. In fact, Kia claims this will go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 10 seconds, which is still more than 1 second slower than the Seltos, which uses the same engine. This 1.4 litre unit is producing 140 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output is 242 Newton meters, which comes in between 1500 to 3200 rpm, a wider torque band than the diesel, because obviously this is a modern turbocharged direct injection petrol motor which really pushes hard. The only issue is that the gearbox is a bit snappy at times. Now it has a 45 litre fuel tank, which is actually chintu mintu for a car which is meant to be a recreational vehicle and go the long haul. And the mileage of the diesel is around 14-15 kilometers per litre. The petrol will return around 8 to 12 kilometers per litre depending on where you're driving. We've got paddle shifters as well. Motor is refined but gets really boomy in the higher end of the rev range. In fact, it redlines at around 6000 rpm. And I realized one thing, that it's just not the engine map. The modes, like let me get into the eco mode right now, changes the gearbox also. The gearbox actually holds on to a gear longer in sport mode. It also alters the steering wheel, but the difference is so chintu mintu you don't realize. Even in eco mode there's good amount of grunt, because I think eco and normal are very similar in terms of the way the power is delivered. Throttle response is crispier in sport mode. Faisal, how can it be a pakoda? Anyways, there you see, even in eco mode the pull is nice and strong. Only thing is, in eco mode now it dulls the air conditioning quite a bit, resulting in uncomfortableness in city driving in this hot kind of a weather when the air conditioning is on. Of course mine is off at the moment. So the gearbox is fast like all DSG units. However, it could be slightly smoother in the way it shifts gears. Obviously it gets the right gear almost all the time, so it's kind of a smart unit in that regard. It's a 7-speed unit, by the way. It says 7 DCT outside, and in the diesel auto it says auto. It doesn't have badging saying petrol or diesel anywhere, so that's a bit of a bummer, although with the sound you can obviously hear it. First and foremost, this is also very smooth, very refined, and then it becomes sporty in the higher end of the rev range. Now you saw eco mode is decent enough. In normal mode it's fine, balance of performance in economy. And then when I get into sport mode, that is when it really gives you the punch and the oomph. Now you can manually shift gears using the paddle shifters, all the Triptronic function on the gear lever, but it will not hold on to a gear. Although the good part is that in that 4.2-inch MID of the instrument cluster, you are able to see exactly which door is open. But I don't understand why Kia has given the air purifier control to the person sitting behind the driver. I mean, it was better in the center. They could have just positioned it there like they always do. Somehow the ride feels even better in this DCT equipped version, because obviously the petrol engine is slightly lighter, so suspension doesn't have to be stiff, resulting in even better ride, and handling is also better somehow. Yeah, I don't know how that is. Maybe probably because I'm enjoying this car so much, I have that placebo effect as well. Ready to go. Revving the motor doesn't rev. That's the only issue with this dual clutch. Yeah, it reaches 100 kilometers per hour in third gear, but this major issue is there, that the engine simply does not rev at launch, so it doesn't move off the line very quickly either. And that's something which we have noticed with a lot of DSG boxes, so that's a bit of a bummer for sure. However, performance is really nice. In fact, anytime you get on the throttle, it instantly moves ahead. So performance is linear for the most part, but it has good amount of grunt in the top end of the rev range as well. So very nice motor. Only thing in sport mode now in the city, it's just too aggressive, and that's kind of uncomfortable because it just wants to leap ahead as such, and then the clutch also kind of slips at times. But hey, not much of a big issue. Now this car obviously competes with the XL6, and Hyundai has done a masterstroke. Why Hyundai? Well, Hyundai's positioned the Alcazar in a position wherein this car will not compete in, because the Alcazar's pricing is between 20 to 25 lakh rupees on road Mumbai. This car's pricing is going to be around 14.75 lakhs to 19.27 lakhs on road Mumbai, and that's the reason why it has lower variants. The Alcazar does not have lower variants, and this is based on the Sonnet platform, and the Alcazar is actually based on the Creta Seltos platform. So they have really managed a master stroke here, and Hyundai has shown who is boss by having the premium positioning in these cars. Obviously these MPVs, recreational vehicles, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm really impressed with this petrol engine. I somehow feel it is better than the 2-liter petrol engine in the Alcazar. Obviously there is no replacement for displacement, but because of a turbo, there is just more torque can offer, and more torque obviously improves the overall performance of the vehicle. Now this car has also got a very funny feature. I don't think it's a funny feature, but still it's a good enough feature, wherein whenever a speed breaker is coming, or you are not supposed to be overtaking, or a school is coming, it actually talks to you like this.
Children crossing ahead.
And like this.
Overtaking prohibited zone.
Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. If you watch Formula 1, you will get the drift. The horn is nice, could have been better though. The car is on at the moment. I can hear the truck on the side, but nothing from this engine. And then obviously it's a bit too sprightly in sport mode. not for these kind of roads for sure. And because the DCT box dulls performance, even with traction control off, there is no wheel spin as such. Now you can see, so easy to turn this car, soft suspension bouncing all over the place. Yeah, I managed to do some wheel spin. Brakes, very nice. I actually like the brakes quite a lot. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, driving the motor. Doesn't rev, yeah, it disappoints me there. You can do a wheel spin only, you know, cornering hard and all that stuff. And there we are going to go through some rough patches of the road. Somehow there are some vibrations coming in this car, and along with vibrations, some rattling is coming from the third row, which is not expected for a car which has done just 1200 kilometers. So guys, this is my vlog of the Kia Carens. If you liked it, make sure to give it the thumbs up. That's a like button. But don't forget to check out this awesome car perfume, the Involve Origin Aurum. You can actually click somewhere here to get a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Bye bye.